This is Ashwini Kumar Kota here, and on behalf of my company Excel Pro, I welcome you all to this webinar today on corporate learning in 2017, 5 trends you don't want to miss. Before we get started, I'm going to give you a brief introduction about me and my organization for you to know who we are, what we do. I'm sure most of you have heard about Excel Pro, and as I see the names here, quite a few of you know me personally too. Just in case you haven't heard of us or don't know much about us, here's a quick snapshot about my organization. The company's name is Pro Training Solutions Pvt Limited. Excel Pro stands for, as you can see, extra large excellence in a chosen profession. So our belief is that if you choose a profession, we can help you achieve excellence in it. I started this company way back in 2005. In those days, I used to call it Synergia Consulting. And Synergia Consulting was started in Mumbai. We did well for some time. And in 2011, I transformed Synergia Consulting into Excel Pro Training Solutions. We formed a company out of it. And we grew further with a core competency on corporate e-learning. So today when I'm talking to you on corporate e-learning, the beauty of the whole picture is that I specialize in corporate e-learning, and that's exactly what Excel Pro does. If you're in an organization and there's something called e-learning, anything and everything, we could be associated in some form or the other. Currently, I've got offices in Mumbai and Bangalore, and God willing, we'll see more locations coming up soon. But these two centers cater to most of the development needs of our clients who are based in India and across diverse countries speaking multiple languages, and it's a technology-driven business, so the globe is our playing field. So what exactly we do in corporate learning? First, we offer end-to-end turnkey solutions. So if anything has done in e-learning from scratch to finish, everything is done by us. So at your organization, if you do basic modules, games, gamification, animation, you think of it, we do it. We are also heavily into gamified e-learning solutions, something I've been talking about today in some while now. Gamification has been a buzzword for quite some time now, and a lot of action has happened, and we have been a part of the action too. We develop a lot of games and assessments for organizations. We are into mobile learning solutions. We do a lot of interactive animations, not just YouTube animations, interactive animations also, but for learning. And a wide area of courses for diverse learning applications, from compliance to sales training to management training, name it. We do it. Having introduced ourselves, I quickly move on to the topic of the day without taking too much time on introductions. If you'd like to know more about us, please type Excel Pro or excelprotraining.com in Google, and there's a whole world about our work, what we do. You can see my past webinars. I do a lot of webinars quite often. You can see my past webinars, which are like gamification, games, street DNA. First of things, you need to just go to YouTube, ask for Excel Pro out there, and there are about 20 odd videos you'll find, our samples, everything is out there. Feel free to see it at your leisure, and we're more than happy to have you on board on YouTube channel too. Starting off right now, corporate e-learning has been seeing a lot of action last few years, especially in India, because we have suddenly started getting a lot of bandwidth. Last 4 or 5 years, I've seen a lot of broadband, and some other band, and something else, and today Geo is there. A lot of technology-driven bandwidth has come our way. So this has led to e-learning also evolving very fast, and 2016 was a fantastic year for all of us in the e-learning business. So I put together 5 trends which I felt were like the things happening in the market today, and I'm sharing it with you based on my experience with the Indian corporate scene as far as e-learning is concerned. When I say corporate, I don't differentiate anybody. Any company who's pro e-learning is a corporate for me, and we're good to go. Some 5 key points put across. Why 5? Well, I can't take 2 to 3 hours of your time, so in an hour's time, 5 is the max I would catch you. There are more trends. We'll see them as we go by next year, but to start with, 5 is good to go. So, what is a trend? I thought, let me just put the points in perspective to see that all of us on the same page. So I thought of taking a moment to see what is a trend. That's what Google says, a general direction in which something is developing or changing. It need not necessarily always be in the direction of your choice or my choice or the company's choice. So trends happen. Trends happen because of a mass of people going in a direction. So the trend could be upward, downward, or horizontal, plateau. So when we see a trend, we get to observe the best practices. Okay, so-and-so is doing well. Things seem to be catching up. Let me take a look at it. We get to understand the next practices. What are next practices? Best practices obviously are time tested. Somebody has burnt his fingers and learned the harder way, and we are making the best of it. The next practices are maybe not as tested, but they are there around, and something which requires testing and something which looks like a next gen thing. You can try them out. They're short in the learning curve. Looking at the trend tells you, okay, you don't need to go the same way when somebody's already learned from their experiences, and you can build on others' experiences. The prime agenda of this webinar today is to share a few things with you which are happening in the world. And if you're not already doing it, you can learn from others' experiences. If you are doing it, you get to see, okay, what next? Do I continue, not continue? You get to plan your thoughts accordingly. So this is the whole thing about a trend. And when we talk of trends in corporate learning, there are a lot of things happening. I've seen some positive trends. I'll share a couple of positive trends with you, which are like very nice and very exciting. I'll share a couple of potential trends, which are basically something which are like newly emerging, which seem to have the potential. Maybe we'll call them positive trends next year. Negative trends, well, what goes up has to come down. That's the law of gravity. The world works on that. Even though we're in the virtual world where gravity doesn't have a significance, but it does have its impact. So there's some trends which I'm seeing are not going as fast or as they were promised a couple of years ago. The trends seem to have slowed down. I'll share one such trend with you in terms of what's going down as of now. So on that note, let's get started. The first trend I'm talking about, the first word, which I think if you talk of e-learning today, you cannot miss this word, and that is called gamification. I'm sure none of you are hearing the word gamification for the first time, because this is something which you will eventually bump into if you have been into e-learning or are associated with e-learning in some way or the other. So I'll just take a quick look at gamification as to what it is and what it is not. By definition, gamification is just the use of game mechanics and game design in non-game constructs. Learning being one such non-game construct, we are using the concept of game or game mechanics for e-learning. So there was a module earlier, yes. There was a learner earlier, yes. Everything was there. We brought in the game mechanics like points, badges, leaderboards, those stuff into it. And on these, I've done a series of webinars in the past. So if you need to go deep into gamification, please check them out on YouTube. You'll enjoy the world of gamification, how fantastic it is. But for now, gamification has been the in thing. You'll be surprised to know that almost 70 to 78% of the large assignments what we've done in 2016 have been on gamification, and our current order book is also heavily on gamification. And I was very surprised initially 1.5 years back, but not just the big companies, but even the smaller companies who are starting off onto e-learning were directly talking about gamification. I've got some clients here who are in the manufacturing segment or sector who are not dealt much with e-learning. They did not have an LMS, no exposure to e-learning. They started off e-learning with gamified induction. That was a wow, and it's rocking for them. So the lesson is gamification works. But what is the need for it? Why have they all gone into it, and what is the trend of the need which brought us here? First point I could capture from it is what you enjoy doing, you learn faster and better. So when we gamify something, it's not just for the fun of it or the fad of it, it is to make it more engaging. Because if I'm loving it, I will capture fast. If I'm not loving it, it will be what we call as gizai in Hindi. You go on pushing it. Well, if a human being has to be pushed, the person is, I don't know, not making sense with the learning. So if you're enjoying it, you learn faster and better. That's what is one point. Second is collaboration and competition drives us. As human beings, we're hardwired for collaboration and competitions. The game elements bring out these things heavily into our minds. Very hands-on and higher retention in application. Well, it is not something that has been very significantly measured, but comparatively, people have seen better results in terms of engagement leading to retention application. Word of caution here, gamification does not mean just putting a game, making people play and making them happy. It's a scientific application of game mechanics where the purpose should not be defeated. The learning purpose should not be defeated. I've seen umpteen situations where learner is very happy because a game has been given to him, the training man is excited about it, but the learning outcomes don't come out. Why? Because they missed the bus. So be very careful here that the motivation and sense of achievement is what is driven by gamification. The core content remains the same. So this is a little snapshot about gamification, and this is one thing which is, if you ask me, which is one thing which was 2016 for me and guiding in 2017, that is superbly gamification, both structured and content. Structure would mean it's a software level, LMS level. Content would mean at a module level or a e-learning, module level. I can say module or a learning element level. So where are the areas where I can talk about application being higher in the coming year? I'm seeing induction being the superstar outright. If I'm seeing 5 opportunities of developing gamified e-learning modules, 3 out of them or 4 out of them are outright induction programs. So employee induction is one thing, is catching a lot of steam on gamification. Product training is the second one, mainly in sales-driven organizations where we see a lot of another large sales force spread across the country, mobile people traveling all the place, and the product details are being kept up to date where new things are being launched back to back. So product training using gamification is catching a lot of action. Process training, again, especially in certain simulations and process-driven organizations, I'm seeing a lot of action happening here too. So induction, product, and process in the same order is what I'm seeing as a trend evolving in the usage of gamification for e-learning. So this was the first part about gamification. Next, I'll go to the second element, which is microlearning. So when I talk of microlearning, I'm specifically talking about games and animation, but I will take a minute to discuss what exactly am I talking about when I say microlearning. Micro means small, learning is learning, but does not mean small learning. It just means learning in small nuggets, which basically means moving from modules to capsules. So if a module was running for 1 hour and we were having a rote mechanism earlier, now what they're saying is shifted to seconds. One of you just mentioned about millennials, and when it comes to millennials, we talk about attention span. Well, we are no good at it either. Even our attention span is quite low, but we were more patient towards a lot of things than the current millennials. That's the only difference. So microlearning deals with small learning units and small activities. And here what I've seen is a game, animation, and a combination of games and animation. This has like worked wonders in multiple facets. And this is something which, when pushed on a mobile device or given in various platforms, is showing good signs. So what are the advantages I'm seeing in microlearning? I'll talk on it in a little detail as of now. First is, I've observed that there is a lot of retention and faster recall because they're only serving one capsule at a time. A person comes in, is about a 2 to 3 minute max 5-minute engagement. So there's a clear message conveyed through an engagement which is very enjoyable as an animation trip, or is very enjoyable as a small game being played and scores are captured, something happens and done, over, the point is over. So the next capsule will come only, the next dose could be today evening or maybe tomorrow or maybe after a week. So the encapsulated learning is enabling our learners to capture the points without having to go through hours and hours and hours of rote mechanism. Now, second thing what we're gaining here is consistency of engagement spread over time. It is not like an injection where we inject the content and the person starts running tomorrow. We're not expecting that. You're able to engage over time, and imagine your sales team spread across the country and you're engaging constantly with them. So top of the mind recall on product knowledge, on technical specifications, host of things is going to be fantastic. People are reaping the rewards for that. And most importantly, a lot of data is coming back. If you're using the certain tools like apps or LMSs, whenever you're engaging in small capsules, the data over there from the games being played or the engagement being done is coming back for analysis. So a trend is being able to be captured, and if you've got the time or patience to observe it, some organizations have done wonderfully well, especially in the insurance sector. I can refer about a couple of companies who have achieved good results by constantly tracking this trend. And most importantly, these days mobiles are in, smartphones are in, and all of us use smartphones. So we have a lot of time when we're stuck in traffic or stuck somewhere or waiting for a meeting. That element is being used productively with anytime, anywhere mobile devices, with a person rather than playing Angry Birds or some weird game is involved in something more constructive without having to bother about, oh my God, I have to complete my module. It's more like wow, let me see what's next. What's the next game? Who's done better than me? And that element has been pretty active. And what are the popular applications of microlearning as work? Again, I repeat, when I say microlearning, I'm not meaning one type of microlearning. I've seen small animation clips being pushed on WhatsApp by companies. I've seen small games loaded onto LMS and the links being given, and they're being played in just about 2 to 5 minutes finished. Game with multiple levels, about 10, 12 levels, but only one level being activated at a point of time. I've seen that. And I've also seen certain organizations who have used a combination of a 2 to 3 minute clip or a quick small game. A game is like a micro game of 30 seconds. That's it. done. And then the person is over. You got the results, and whether you win or you lose or repeat, there are certain options to it. So popular applications is one, post-training interventions. So after training program has been completed, especially induction program or other programs, post-training we usually have a lot of trouble in terms of when you do a TEE after 3 months, you see the results are sometimes very dangerous or shocking, surprising, or maybe not as you wanted them to be. So we have seen a lot of post-training impact in terms of recall retention coming in through these activities. We can call them as revision. I've also seen one particular organization, of course there are many more, but this is a classic case in the insurance sector, where they used microlearning for selling a larger module. They sent microlearning clips, animation clips over WhatsApp for about 3 to 4 weeks before launching the main program. And the curiosity was so good, it was something like trailers coming out and a movie coming in after that. It was a gamified module, of course, but the way the trailers worked is when the module was launched, the number of hits what it got on the first day itself was phenomenal, and within a month it was all completed, and they got 100% strike rate in terms of success rate, which was unheard of in the organization as far as completion was concerned for e-learning activities. Compliance training from InfoSec to POSH, I've seen a lot of action on compliance training, especially because compliance training in some organizations is felt like, okay, I have to do compliance. But when you do a micro-learning, a lot of key elements get captured properly, and the top of the mind recall what you want, especially in InfoSec and POSH. I've personally seen the results coming out very well in this. Frontline Salesforce training, no points for guessing. It's like a superstar success because short attention span, a lot of tactical details can be constantly sent across. Mainly animation clip plus a small game works wonders here, has worked wonders here. So this was about micro learning. After micro learning, we go to the third trend, which is another very interesting trend, which I call as a personalized learning. When I say personalized learning, the first question which might come to your mind is, okay, e-learning is personalized. I'm on my computer, I'm learning. Whether it's asynchronous, synchronous, it is personalized. So why personalized learning, and why are we calling it a trend? Well, here's the Googling. I'm talking about personalization of e-learning, where you've heard of it, my device. I can learn on my computer, laptop, mobile device. Yes, I'm with you on this. I can learn at my time, whatever time of the day I want to learn, I can learn. My duration is not a trend, you all know it. My place, yes. My pace, yes. So your device, your time, your place, your pace, all given. But the level of personalization was not complete till it reached this stage. My learning capability, the trend I'm seeing right now is the level of personalization. The level of personalization has gone beyond device, time, place, space to the learning capability. All of you who are trainers here and who have trained people in classrooms, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you have a bunch of 20 participants in a classroom, within a few minutes you get to know some are hyper charged, excited, super dudes who want to learn, tell me I'm here to learn. And there are those people who are like, I'm the dude here, probably I know more than you. You'll find such people in the classroom too, and tell me something I don't know. And then you get the average learners, okay, fine, I'm supposed to be here, I'm supposed to learn. And then the laggards will give you a test of your patience, which is very difficult to take them together in a classroom. And again, you're here, so you're experts, you become trainers by virtue of your capability. But you know there is superstars and the average learners and laggards. Now what's happening is a trend towards not creating one module fits all. Earlier we used to have one model fits all. So I used to get assignments earlier. Okay, I want to create an e-learning model on time management. Okay, I create something for time management, start, finish. The max what was being done is, if you do not get a particular score, please repeat the quiz. Please repeat the module. That was the way. And during the journey, somewhere a couple of years back or a couple of years ago, we saw something called branch scenarios. So give the right answer, you go somewhere, give the wrong answer, you go somewhere, and then from somewhere comes somewhere. But today I'm seeing a lot of organizations paying attention to my learning capability, wherein I'm designing a program, or an e-learning program or e-learning module, keeping in mind the needs of superstars, average learners, and laggards. So how does it happen? Of course, the course is created as it is normally created, taking into consideration the average learner, but there is a certain element of on-demand content placed onto it. So if you really want to know more about it, click here to know more. Click here to try a higher level of game. So always something which a person with a higher hunger can attempt it. A person who does not have that extra curiosity or higher hunger, if he doesn't attempt it, he doesn't do something. So you're saturating the superstar, you are taking the average learner. And for the laggards, if they miss the bus somewhere in terms of going through the module, is scoring something wrong, then there's another loop being created where the same thing is explained with a few more examples or a few more scenarios or certain elements where you simplify the learning element, and again a person attempts the assessment and the person comes back on track. So three tracks being created wherein there's a normal track to go, but if you're a superstar, your hunger is higher, you get something more. Laggards get something a better attention or more personal attention, and host of other facilities being created not just within the module but outside the module, wherein even it could be a non-e-learning intervention being provided. But yes, there is something for everyone. Completion by itself is not a solution. Learning and application is a solution. That's something people are more particular about these days. So this is about personalization of e-learning, and I'm not going deep into it at this stage because this is highly contextual to organizations and subjects and topics and the budgets involved. So if you need to know more about it, and if you are not already practicing it, and if you feel how this can be created in your organization for the program, feel free to reach out to me offline. I'll be able to share a few more practical examples with you on how specific programs can be customized in a manner to reach out to all three types of audience. Word of caution here, this is where you can go overboard unnecessarily. You should avoid that too. It's all need based. If you've got a diverse audience with a similar learning need, and you're able to clarify the diversity in terms of, okay, all three sets are being represented properly, and you need to go the extra mile to make it work for them, this will surely work for you. The next one, so what have we seen here? We've seen three trends. We've seen gamification, we've seen social learning, and we've seen personalization, which are like three hot trends which I'm seeing catching up like wildfire in the corporate learning space. And I've seen this moving in 2016, and in 2017 I'm seeing myself doing a lot of business on those lines. So if you are on it too, probably you can just check those out. It will help you as you go in 2017. The fourth one I'm going to talk about is a rising star. When I say rising star, this has been around. The word has been around. We've heard the word, but it's not been as actively engaging or is not there as in total as it's required to be. Social learning is something we've all spoken about. We've read about. You can see Google. A lot of talk about it, and some of you might be involved in it. But the word social is not very watertight. It's a little, I want to say, difficult to understand. But to make it work, you need a little more effort on the social space. So social learning is a rising star, a trend where I'm seeing a lot of experimentation. It's the next thing, next best practices, next practices. Rising star of social learning is the next practice I'm seeing. There are a lot of companies are trying to experiment with it, make it work, test it, and get results from it. So why do you need to make it social? One, if you look at the popular social options, the results or the answers will come to you automatically. People are using blogs, they're using WhatsApp groups, they're using discussion forums, LinkedIn groups, Facebook, Google Hangouts, sorry. Yeah, and host of other tools. The idea is that when I've got a technology-driven world today, where a majority of my personal time is spent on social platforms, whether I'm reading or answering questions on Quora, or I'm posting something on Facebook, or on LinkedIn, or something else, or WhatsApp, you see a phenomenal amount of knowledge sharing is happening already in the social data. If we bring in our learning into it, focused knowledge sharing through the peer groups can work wonders. And those of you, I think almost all of you, know the 70-20-10 model, which was popularized recently. And 70% of course we say application on the job, but the 20% of it which is more focused upon learning from people, other people, peers, superiors, and using technology, it can work wonders provided it's channelized properly. This is on an experimental basis. Companies are doing something. I don't have facts to say if something worked for them, something did not work. Well, people are trying to make it work. So the few things which came in specifically are social ensures voluntary collaborative learning through experiences and opinion sharing. That is very important. As you saw a little while ago, I can go on talking about gamification, but the moment two of you share your practical experiences, that gives a different edge to my program altogether. Why? Me sharing 20 examples of my clients is one thing. You sharing 2 examples of yourselves is a completely different plane altogether. So the peer sharing gives a higher confidence and higher engagement and better application, retention, and recall. Second is it helps in keeping the context practical and live beyond the module. Any learning element runs the risk of turning into a theory session if it does not have a practical application. And the practicality of a practical application is what went wrong when applying it and how we got it right. So anybody who's gone through the grind can only tell you what are the nuances, nuts and bolts, and the success what we achieve at the end of it. So the practical edge being shared with people who are implementing it live today under current circumstances is something fantastic, and that is something we should pick it up and we should go live. One leaf I'll draw from the world of technology. Since I'm connected to tech and I do follow a lot of forums, I interact with people out there. In the world of technology, when somebody's got a problem, they directly go online and post it, and 20 guys jump on it to give an answer. Yes, I've gone through it, it's happened to it, and the descriptions go very deep. And those of you who follow technology yourself, maybe web servers, maybe LMSs, maybe authoring tools, if you've got a query, try posting a query on a forum, and you will see collaboration happening from across the world, countries, from countries whose names you might not even have heard about. So what does it tell you? There are people out there living in the same space. They need not be your next shoulder-to-shoulder pals, but they're in the same fraternity. So similarly, when you make it social in a company, suppose you're a company as large as say HUL or Infosys or GE or kind of a thing. You don't know all employees out there, and when you are sharing and discussing something, you might get help from other departments who are facing similar challenges, application of learning as you are right now. But a very important word of caution, don't forget to moderate it. So if you're doing a social learning application and if you're involving people into forums, or whether it's a closed forum or an open forum, if you don't moderate it, the risk of this thing going out of control, people discussing weird things or losing track of the purpose of coming there or getting into altercations longer is quite high. In the social world, especially in the corporate learning space, my one straight word of caution, if you are attempting something social, be sure you have got the time, energy, and the patience to moderate it. Moderate, not just like a policeman, okay, right, wrong. Moderate to channelize the discussions, moderate to bring in enthusiasm, bring in energy, and give a direction to what people are discussing. So everybody ends up in a win-win situation, and it's a collaborative learning at the end of it. That's very important about social. The fifth topic for the day, oops, and that's MOOCs. Maybe it's like a rhyming thing, but that's a fact. Almost all of you might know what MOOCs are, but for those of you in case I've missed the bus or who are not very familiar with MOOCs are massive open online courses. They are fantastic, phenomenal potential, and the reason I put them in the MOOCs is I'm seeing a declining trend in terms of the buzz I've heard about MOOCs earlier. I'll tell you why I'm feeling the declining trend and why there's a loss of steam in it. We'll discuss that right now. But the low traction, what I feel these days, is the reason I brought it here. We saw 3 supercharging energy trends. Then we saw one rising star who's got the potential to like be the wow thing tomorrow. For all we know, next year, same time, I'll be doing a workshop and I'll say, third group of the year is social learning. Possible? It's possible. Or for all you know, I bring it here. But today, I'm bringing MOOCs into the negative category, or the person who's seeing a downward trend currently. I'm not sure it will continue for long. A downward trend might pick up immediately, but let's see what's making it the way, what's bringing it to where it is today. As Wikipedia says, a MOOC is an online course aimed at unlimited participation and open access via the web. That's why it's open online. Any number of people can participate in it. It's online. You can access via the web, and you can have a great time doing it. So while we're at the MOOCs, I've got a couple of quick questions to ask you, query to ask you. How many of you have actually participated in a MOOC and taken up a course? Please give me a show of hands or type the name of the course in the text box. Great. I can see a few hands up. Actually, the single digit number, I think there's 7 or 8 hands up right now. All right. Great. And those of you who have not attempted taking a MOOC, I would sincerely advise you to experience one MOOC at least. You can try Coursera, you can try one of the other courses out there. There's some fantastic courses which you can use. All right, Ajit has attended design thinking, Srinivasan has attended LinkedIn, Coursera, etc. Fantastic, yes. To give you a little personal experience, about a couple of years back, quite some time back, and it's like many months ago, gamification in those days was the in thing. It was a buzzword, but not much of practical things that happened out there. And I was very desperate to pick up, like, a gamification is in. I need to be there. I need to learn. I'm a very voracious learner, and I'd love to pick up things I'm very keen about. And that's when I chanced upon a MOOC on Coursera for gamification. It was a fantastic course. It's the first time I actually went through a course, and when I went through a course, I was so surprised. Why was I surprised? I was attending live classroom sessions with the faculty while he was teaching. I was able to do assignments here, and there was a peer evaluation where my assignments were going to somebody I don't know. I was evaluating somebody else's assignments. We had a forum out there. We were discussing practically how we apply gamification, and in I think 20 odd countries from where people were participating. And by the end of the course, I was like, wow. And even now, I'm in touch with some of the participants out there. And if you look at the experience, what I gained, that brought me the traction to push further into gamification. And it did wonders for me in terms of getting a command subject, and today you see we do a lot of work on gamified e-learning. So it's been a wonderful experience. I think irrespective of which way the trend goes, we should try it out sometime. MOOCs were first introduced in 2008. That's when they started off, and they were very popular by 2012, the kind of time I'm talking about. But after 2012, there was a lot of talk, and even today, a lot of education is happening where people are using MOOCs. IIT, IIMs, etc. have started using MOOCs actively to teach people in other colleges. But in the corporate world, somewhere we are not yet there. So what does MOOC offer? MOOCs offer live online sessions. They offer traditional material, a lot of content, rich content, film lectures. The recorded lectures are there from real classrooms, readings and problem-solving sets, exercises, and interactive user forums to support your interactions among students and teachers. All these things I've just mentioned in the example of Coursera, which I gave you. So much of beautiful stuff. It's like all loaded. It's like a buffet out there. Eat as much as you want, kind of a thing. There's everything's out there to pick up. So why are we facing this issue of this not being the wow thing? Topics, you name a topic, there's a MOOC for it. Some of the finest topics today include digital marketing and the latest things, next-gen things, technical, non-technical. There's a MOOC for everything from renowned colleges there. But what is the potential? Why have we missed the bus? This is where it comes in. Very high potential, yes, due to quality of content, faculty at almost zero cost. To take up most of the MOOCs, you don't have to pay a penny for it. Have an internet connection, go ahead and do it. Sometimes they charge you for a certificate or so, but most of them are free, or if they're costing, it's all pretty cheap. Excellent exposure to international peer groups. This is something all of us want as corporates. Till here, all things look good, but then the googly starts. This is proven to be very ideal for distance learning. Even today, in many colleges, people are learning with MOOCs, and they try to make sense of it, they're enjoying it. And then, for this kind of distance learning to happen, it requires a lot of self-motivation and personal practice. Here is when the ball starts spinning in the wrong direction. So when somebody takes up a course in a MOOC, the person is designed to take up a certificate or learn because the hunger for learning is quite high. But if the level of hunger is not so high to participate and learn, this thing dwindles off. And when we bring the MOOC into a corporate learning space, and if you don't blend it in properly, what happens is you enroll 100 people for a Coursera MOOC, but after 3 days or 4 days, everybody is busy with other priorities, firefighting, deadlines, rush hours, and a million other things which come in. And slowly this becomes, okay, I'll do it the weekend, I'll do it next month, and then the boiling frog syndrome sets in, and at the end of the day, years pass by. Oh, I wish I should done it at a point of time. Like most things on the wish list and the bucket list, this thing also goes into it. So to avoid doing that, we have to have a mechanism. And if in your organization, if you want to implement MOOCs, you have to have a mechanism to overcome this particular element, because these three are there. This element, and in some cases, uncanny push in an organization can lead to theory overload. Okay, the lead word has got overlap with my logo, sorry for that. So excessively saying you have to complete the MOOC. I've seen a certain organization where MOOCs were given as a part of a sort of a KRA, where you're required by protocol to complete the course by a definite date and time. So people are pushed towards it, and they found it very theoretical because The organization did not have any practical application, did not have a social engagement, just complete the MOOC, get a certificate. Well, they might have got a certificate, it was more like technically correct, practically useless. So why am I going into so much of detail here? MOOCs have got fantastic potential, but if you blend a social learning, the rising star of social learning, with a MOOC and have some mechanisms in organization where you can make it work, the potential of a MOOC, the potential energy of the MOOC, coupled with the kinetic energy of the social engagement, can turn into a transforming learning experience for your organization. So this was a little bit of a snapshot about MOOC. If you want to know more, please feel free to call me, speak to me, discuss with me. So these were 5 points today. So to summarize today's session, we were looking at practical corporate e-learning trends, 5 trends you don't want to miss in 2017. If you see towards the end, I brought the word practical. Trends are trends. Anybody can talk on trends. Any expert can talk on trends, like fashion trends in Paris and this and that. But we are more focused upon what are the practical trends happening in our country today and where are we. The first we saw is a lot of action happening in gamification, modules are being rolled out, assignments being commissioned, a lot of things are happening. And if you're not already on it, I would say give it a thought, maybe enjoy the experience. Second, we saw microlearning, which is really yielding rewards because the cost of doing it is quite less, spread over time, small games, small animation, combinations, wonderfully well. Third, personalized learning. E-learning was always personalized, but the personalization is going to the next level in terms of it's not about my device, my time, my place. Beyond that, it's also in terms of my learning capability. We discussed that. And then we saw rising star, social learning. There's a lot of social action happening out there. If you can channelize the platform, moderate it, have something within the organization. Most of you got LMSs which have got discussion forums, use them productively, and then you can probably see a lot of progress happening on the social learning front, peer-to-peer learning. And then we saw the MOOCs, which has got phenomenal potential, rose like a star a few years back and have plateaued now, showing a downward trend in terms of application. But with the content which MOOCs carry and the intent to apply which we carry, if you club them together, make it a little social, probably you can have a fantastic blend which gets you really wonderful results. These are the 5 points we discussed today, and that's where this brings me to the end of my webinar on the trends in 2017. If you'd like to be in touch with us and like to participate in subsequent programs, you can join us, subscribe us on YouTube, or follow us on LinkedIn, and you get to know more about what we're doing ahead. So on that note, thank you very much. Have a great evening ahead and see you in 2017. Thank you. Bye-bye.